All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, May 15th. We have just one NBA playoff game to dive into in today's video. In this video, I'm going to dive into Game 6 here of the Nuggets and the Thunder. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays. So I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of yesterday, we kept it simple. 2 plays. We had 2 games. Again, 2 plays. We took the over in both and cashed them. Thanks to the Celtics for putting up a big number and the Timberwolves for putting up a big number as well. -110 for that Celtics-Knicks over, and then -105 for that Warriors and Timberwolves over. We'll probably keeping it simple, right? We've been doing that with the lack of, volume of games on. We've been very conservative about what we're throwing out there. We misgraded our recap yesterday, but still, we've been on a decent little NBA run here when we're just throwing out, 3, 2, 1 amount of plays per day. With one game on the board today, honestly, I don't envision us doing a whole heck of a lot. I don't want to come out here and just because we're making a video and all that type of stuff. Sure, we'll talk about a few different spots, but in terms of putting my hard-earned bread on something, and you guys probably doing the same on the other end, like, you really want to find the things that you love and find the things that you think has some sort of a value or some sort of edge or something like that. So, yeah, probably going to keep it simple again today. Before we do dive into this game, I want to talk to you guys about Sleeper. Real quick, guys, this is the last day to take advantage of the deal that Sleeper has going on. If you've ever signed up using code GuyBoston, or if you are new today, you're going to get access to this great deal and great promo that they're doing. So again, if you've done it in the past, or if you're new today, if you create a contest today using code GuyBoston and signing up, or if you used it in the past, use code GuyBoston, you are going to get a protected square and protected pick over on Friday, which is tomorrow, right? So go ahead and take advantage. Again, it's not just for new users, but if you are a new user, you got a couple things coming your way today. Boom, you get a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 0.5 point square, and you also get your first deposit matched up to $100. So new users, yes, there's a little bit more in there for you, sweetening the pot a little bit, but even existing users that have used code GuyBoston in the past, all you have to do is place an entry into a contest today, and you get a protected pick over on Friday, which is, again, tomorrow. So go ahead and check out Sleeper, guys. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. So like I said, probably keeping it simple in this one. We've seen Denver, kind of hang in these games, so that +4.5 is enticing. But where I immediately look is, okay, Thunder on the road. We've already hit this multiple times in this series. Thunder first quarter money line. Though they're coming off of a win, and I kind of like to take them first quarter when they're coming off of a loss, the numbers certainly speak for themselves. Dating back to this season, so every game that they've played, including the playoffs, against the Nuggets on the road, they've won the first quarter. Back in October, 31-24. Back in November, 32-30. Then in this series alone, on May 9th, 28-22, and then they won 17-8. Are they doing it at home? Not necessarily. They lost the first quarter. I think it was only by 1 point in that last game. But still, on the road, the numbers are there. I guess when we look at it in this series, they've won every first quarter except for that one game recently. But again, I'm looking at this on the road. I think that OKC knows they're in a position here to really get out and set the tone, right? They're up 3-2 in this series. I would say that that's going to be pretty damn important for them to continue this, because what we've seen, the longer these games go on, and I'm sure you guys have been able to agree, is that barring, I guess, if you exclude the last quarter of the last game, because Denver did not look all that great and OKC just kind of pulled away. The longer these games go on, it looks like Denver has more and more of a fighting chance in these games. Like OKC has had 6, 7, 8 point leads after the first quarter in some of these games, and they end up being, a 2-possession type game. So the first quarter, though the numbers are there and the trends are there, it's even just important to OKC to want to win these games to get out to the early lead, because Denver not necessarily the craziest starting team in terms of how they go out there and score. I want to say we have this up in front of us. Defensively, they were the worst defense first quarter. I think they ranked 30th, but offensively, I believe that they were closer to the bottom of the league as well. Whereas, OKC's kind of not exactly the best first quarter defense, but in terms of scoring, I believe that they're a really good first quarter scoring team. So all that lines up. Thunder first quarter, money line is going to be play number one. I think that that's probably got a good chance of being a final play. And that is the type of thing, too, where it's like, all right, if this one doesn't come through for us, we've cashed it 3 times already. At some point, we hit 75% on it, but we got to go back to the well and try again, right? I know there's the smart people out there. When I say keep it simple, they're like, well, don't keep it stupid, because at some point they don't win a first quarter, I'm assuming, when we roll with it. But you know what? Hasn't happened to us yet. In terms of where we go from an actual side perspective, like I said, I do think that number is enticing on the Nuggets side of things. And given their team and how they've competed in the series so far, the only game that really they looked, pretty bad in was that blowout game, and that was game 2 when the Thunder had everything in the world to play for because they didn't want to go down 0-2 as the 1 seed, right? So the way I look at this, that Denver does keep this game close, and they've shown that they can keep this game close. This total is going up, up, and up. I think we saw it last night at like 214. It's already up to 217 in some places. I would say that that's only saying that the Thunder are going to have money poured into them today, which maybe this line at 4.5, we get a 5 or 5.5 by game time. Who knows, if any movers come in. So I'm going to wait this one out, but I do think that the Nuggets at home, given their team with Jokic, with Murray, with the veteran cast of their squad, they don't go down without a fight at the very least. Am I saying that they win this game? I don't want to say that. I can't guarantee that. I can't see the future, even though sometimes we can. But I would say that 5 points in your back pocket is a pretty decent situation to be in if you have Jokic, if you have guys that can hit big shots, and clearly have been competitive against what looks like the best team left in the playoffs, right? So I'll take the Nuggets plus the 5. Keep an eye on the final place to see if we ultimately end up rolling with that. But that's just based on the product we've seen so far. Even last game, they kept it to, 7 points. They were 10.5-point dogs. The Nuggets have covered in 4 of the 5 games. The only one they didn't, again, was when they got smacked in game 2. When it comes to a total, we've had a lot of luck with these overs, right? We've been cashing overs left and right, and I don't see a reason. Now, it didn't hit last game, even though we thought it did for a split second. I don't see a reason to take, the under at 216.5. And this total is only going up to 217 right now, and it looks like it's moving in that direction. So an over 216.5 is probably be where I'd go. But everything that we've talked about so far, whether it was the Thunder first quarter or the Nuggets plus the 5 points, say, I do think that I'm a little bit more comfortable with because, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that 216, 217 number, whether it's regular season, playoffs, that is such like a swinging number where you're just so right on the fence, right? That is between, especially for the playoffs, between a slightly faster pace or a really, low pace game. If this was like 205, then okay, we're expecting a slow pace game. You can really start digging in and getting your teeth sunk into the idea of an under. 217, that means only a couple shots. This could be 223, 2 threes are made. And it's like, wow, this thing's actually moving pretty fast. So I don't have enough in me to consider an under, so especially with the line direction that it's moving in, I would say over in this spot. And we've already seen, a decent amount of points scored in some of these games so far this series. We've seen 217 twice. We saw game number 1 that was high scoring. The overtime game, what was that? I forget the final score. That was 217, right? And then obviously the Thunder when they put up nearly 150, that went over. When it comes to player props, and I've admitted this entire time that this series has not been my forte player prop wise, right? But I do still think that there are a couple spots we can look at. Now, Jamal Murray, good game, bad game, good game, bad game. I do think that we're going to see him shooting the ball a decent amount today. So for plus 150, considering his over 2.5 threes, and you got to think of it like this too, right? This is a spot in which what if the Nuggets are losing by, say, even 5 points towards the end of the game? Their season is on the line. I think that they're going to take some of these threes, and maybe Murray gets a few more attempts off than he normally would. So, especially because he does like to take those shots in the crunch time moments too, right? So, just given the fact and I guess the situation, I would say threes could be good because, again, I expect the Nuggets to be losing slightly towards the end of the game. And what if they are down by 3 with a minute to go? A 2 their season still could be over in a sense, right? Unless they want to play the make and foul game. So I think that we might get a few more attempts from the guy that should be taking those threes towards the end of the game, especially if this game kind of goes according to this dumb brain's plan. So I like the idea of Murray over 2.5 threes. I don't mind the idea of over points for him. I do think that Jokic is going to have the ball a ton, so I worry about, Murray's assists, but I think Murray's going to have some spot-up opportunities. For me, though, he goes out there and makes 3 threes. I'm a happy camper. This season, he didn't really crush that line. He only had 3 threes in, I believe, 29 of 79 games, playoffs included. But recently, you look at his last 10 games here, he's averaging 2.8 threes per game. You look at him against this Thunder team, yeah, you could say that he's slightly struggled, but since the start of this series, he's had 3 threes in 2 of those 5 games, which, yes, that's only 40% of the games, but we're getting plus 150 odds on it. So the payout is there for somewhat of a sprinkle and a long shot. So maybe this is a spot in which it is a sprinkle. I don't know if we go full half unit on it because I said we're going to keep it simple, but I do think that is a longer type of play that we could roll with. So yeah, if I were to rank everything we talked about so far in this video, I would go Thunder first quarter, Murray and the Nuggets spread kind of tied for second, and then the total. I imagine we have maximum 2 of those 4 plays down as final plays today. So make sure to keep an eye on the final plays, guys. Let me know what you're rolling with in this game. This is going to be a very, very good game because this is a Nuggets team that I doubt goes down without some sort of a fight. And I would not be surprised, if we are heading to a Game 7 between these two teams just because of that fight that Denver has in them. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I imagine, a game that Denver can win. If I had to say who's going to win, I'm still taking the Thunder because they've shown that they are the better team when push comes to shove. But you can never count out Jokic, Murray, and the rest of the Nuggets. So let me know what you guys are rolling with down in the comments. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.